Am I the asshole for serving my family food from the trash? For context, my sister and I grew up relatively poor. When I was 6, our mom took a promotion and moved 3 hours away. We found out in our adult life she had been hoarding her money and giving our alcoholic father a small allowance to raise us. With his addiction problems, it left us minimal money for essentials. By the time I was 16, we were technically on our own, and I was ransacking dumpsters to feed myself and my sister. I'm now in my late 30s, have a successful career, and live quite comfortably. My sister is also well off now. My wife and I have a great relationship. I've worked to stop some of my old habits from my upbringing. Some of my penny pinching techniques my wife graciously ignores and lets me save her money where I can. However, there's one issue we always can find a compromise. I can't handle when food is thrown out. Our daughter, 12, wanted chickens last year. That ended up being a good idea, since our table scraps would go to them instead of being wasted to the trash. For the record, I hate when my wife shops at Costco. She buys too much for our family, which creates a lot of waste. I've asked her to at least donate what we don't eat, or give it to me and I can drop it to a homeless camp near my job. She promised to just buy less quantity, but that didn't last, because she doesn't like grocery shopping more than once a week. Last week, I came home and found a sealed pack of lettuce, one whole cucumber, an entire loaf of bread and potatoes in the trash can outside. The lettuce was expired, but looked fine. The bread was also expired, but had no mold. The potatoes had eyes, but weren't green or rotten yet. I went inside and started on dinner. I grilled chicken, which was the only item not from the trash. I made salad and added the cucumber, used the bread to make croutons, and finally I made mashed potatoes. We all sat down to eat. My wife mentioned how great the food was. I told her it was what she had thrown out earlier that day. She was completely mortified and grossed out. I told her I washed everything off before cooking it, but she said that didn't matter. My point was, if the food was good enough for us to eat, it should have not been thrown out. At bare minimum, she could have given it to our daughter to take to the chickens. She argued back that I should have taken it from the trash and to the chickens, not to our table. She was irritated with me, fearing we would all have food poisoning or something, but none of us got sick from the food. She said regardless, it was wrong for me to prove a point in that manner, and borderline abuse to serve the family food from the trash. I don't really see what I did wrong. There are starving people in this world, and for us to throw out perfectly fine food just doesn't sit right with me. Am I the asshole? There are two halves to every ass. So let's start with your wife. Throwing out food is not okay, unless it's a salad that might kill your colleague. Everyone has accidents, but in her case, it's not a one-off. It's systematic. Sounds like something that happens every week. Why does she buy so much? Is it some kind of impulsive buying problem? Also, who throws out food based on the expiry date alone? In making decisions, you should rely on your senses. Take a look, take a smell. If it looks fine and smells fine, there's no reason to throw it out. The expiry dates are normally pushed earlier just to be safe. So, OP is not wrong for having an issue with this. But the feeding his family from the trash part is where he lost me. Maybe it's just me being overly squeamish, but I wouldn't eat something from the trash, even if it was packed. Besides, I don't think polyethylene is completely impenetrable. Have you ever tried putting a piece of bloody meat into a bag? It leaks. I think there are different kinds of polyethylene, and some of them do let things through. Also, doesn't packed salad has little holes for ventilation? And also, did you wash the bread? He says he washed everything off. Did you wash the bread? In conclusion, you should have given it to the chickens, not to the people. I'm willing to cut you some slack because of your traumatic experience and the fact that eating out of the trash is not actually something unthinkable to you. This is literally how you used to live. And it's not like you fed your family and abstained yourself. You wanted to teach them a lesson and you thought it was actually good. So I'm taking off some asshole points for that. But still, you are the asshole. I know it's probably more icky than dangerous. I know there are whole communities who feed from dumpsters. They call themselves frigans and they seem to be mostly okay. Otherwise, we would hear about them much more often than we do. So and so ate from the trash and died. We would hear it every day. So I don't think it's as dangerous as it seems, but frigans seem to know what they're doing and they consent to it. They do it by their own choice. Your family didn't consent to it. You should have fed the chickens. Feed the chickens. Reddit said asshole, but to me it's more of an everyone sucks situation. Your wife sucks for being wasteful, you suck for feeding people out of the trash without their consent. Oh, one more thing. If your wife buys too much because she only wants to do shopping once a week, how about you take over the shopping instead, huh? If you are so responsible and if it irks you so much, which I totally understand, how about you rearrange your household duties? Let's see the comments. Top comment. You are the asshole. You need to find ways for you to heal from your childhood trauma without digging food out of the trash. Just because you are okay this time doesn't mean that wasn't a bad decision, especially feeding it to your family without their consent. Someone responds to that. Would amend to everyone sucks here, because it's clear from throwing out unused, unopened items that the wife is buying more than they need and throwing it out instead of donating it. Food waste is unacceptable. Having seen the news reports of activists who pull out pounds and pounds of perfectly good food from grocery store trash bins, I am unable to say whether what Opie did was dangerous or not. But even if it was, that doesn't make buying too much food and throwing it out instead of donating it okay. Another person responds, if it had been meat or dairy, OP might have been chancing food poisoning, getting it out of the trash, when it had gone unrefrigerated for a while. But vegetables and bread, all of which sound like they were sealed in plastic and none of which had visible mold, that's not a danger. Someone says, except if he really cared, he could just do the groceries himself. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Believe it or not, just as I was preparing to record this, I decided to put a patch on an inflammation I have on my face. And these are very special patches from Korea with microneedles, very good at soothing inflammations. And then I took a little piece of plastic with 2 remaining patches and I put it in my trash bin. I don't even know what I was thinking. Maybe I thought I needed to throw out the package, but I didn't need to do it because I had some patches left. And let me tell you, these are expensive. But I'm not putting it on my face after it was in the trash. They were unprotected, with their little needles sticking out. And I had a huge dust beard in my bin, having recently emptied my vacuum cleaner. So, they didn't have a chance. Rest in peace.